Good Friday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's video, we'll be focusing on a tropical system brewing in the Gulf of Mexico through this weekend and what impacts that could bring to Florida and parts of the Gulf. And then a Rex blocking pattern with extreme heat feeling more severe weather as we go through the rest of this week into this weekend. And then a major pattern change in the offing is possible with more rainfall for the Midwest and Ohio Valley. We'll get into those details later on in today's video. But looking at the visible satellite imagery as of this morning, that stagnant weather pattern, the Rex blocking pattern, does persist across North America and parts of the lower 48 here. But underneath that, we have troughing, and this is bringing some more tropical trouble across the eastern Gulf of Mexico as of this morning. And looking here at the current sea surface temperature anomalies across the Gulf this morning, where that system does reside, the temperatures are a little bit more below average in the eastern Gulf of Mexico to near average. So we're not seeing the boiling heat like we see out here into the western Gulf with this system. So it's not really going to have much legs with it as it drifts off to the south and southeast through this weekend. So I only expect more of a tropical depression status with this, but it is tropical depression too. So we do have to watch this across the open waters of the Gulf, and then as it drifts more southeast into portions of western Cuba, there could be some minimal impacts there going in toward your Saturday night and Sunday morning. And overall, the system's not going to be packing that much of a punch. It may bring some low winds. It could bring some moderate rainfall accumulation, but overall, not too much in the way of flooding here. There could be some heavier rainfall with some tropical moisture over here into the greater Antilles, eastern Cuba, getting in toward portions of the Dominican Republic, the Bahamas. Other than that, we're really not seeing much of the way of impacts with this system going through this weekend. But if you guys like daily weather forecast breakdowns on this channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel down below. It's free to do, and you get daily weather updates again across southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics each and every morning at 9 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Definitely appreciate that. And it's also very important to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below the video. The more people who do so, the more this video gets out to as many people as possible. So I definitely appreciate that as well. But like I said, across North America, we are dealing with a Rex blocking pattern where we have a ridge over the top here into Canada and the northern United States persisting that with the building drought across the Midwest and Ohio Valley. But underneath that, we have plenty of active weather. We have heavy rainfall, severe storms, and tropical activity in association with troughs across the southern and southeastern United States for the foreseeable future. And you do see that resembled on the upper air maps today. This is on June 2nd today on Friday, and you do see the ridge over the top here as advertised across southern Canada and getting into the southern United States. That's where we have more of the active weather, and it really continues through much of this weekend. There may be a trough across New England providing some rainfall, but again, the moisture is really lacking through the weekend. But it does appear that this ridge will be retrograding back slowly to the west towards central and eventually western Canada as we get towards early next week. But looking at temperatures today, it is steamy across the Mississippi Valley. So if you have a pool or you know somebody with a pool, this would be a great time to take advantage of that with temperatures in the upper 80s, lower 90s, and that really continues to encourage more than 90s across the Mississippi Valley going into Saturday and on Sunday as well. With that trough, though, across New England by the late weekend time frame, that we could be cooling down back into the 60s and 70s, but still very seasonable temperatures for this time of year, so definitely get out and enjoy that there on Sunday. But with precipitation, there is not much of a game in town. If you live in the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, there is not much hope for you guys going through this weekend and really much of next week with precipitation. The active subtropical jet we've seen through much of May and getting into early June here does continue to march in a lot of moisture across the central and southern plains and the Rockies, and that really does continue through this weekend. So much so that we'd actually have a severe weather outbreak that is possible across west central Texas and the panhandle of Texas as we go into this afternoon. The Storm Prediction Center already highlighting West Texas here and parts of the panhandle with a slight to enhanced risk in the yellow and orange shaded color. That's a level 2 to 3 out of 5 on the scale. And I'm very concerned about some damaging winds over 75 miles per hour back here into Lubbock, getting down to Midland here and perhaps the San Angelo area, and as far west here as portions of the Hobbs region there into New Mexico. I'm very also concerned for more of the hail. The hailstones could be over golf ball size in those very same areas across Lubbock, getting down into Midland, Texas, the Fort Stockton region, San Angelo, maybe the Abilene area. Definitely have to keep an eye on that. And there's also a threat for a few tornadoes across that area, again, in Lubbock, Midland, and also the San Angelo region later on today. So timing out the storms, this is noon time frame. Not much happening. A shower or storm cannot be ruled out, but likely not severe through much of the morning into the early afternoon. It's about 2, 3, 4 o'clock. We'll really start to explode the thunderstorms here across eastern New Mexico into West Texas, the panhandle of Oklahoma. Those storms could turn severe quickly as we have a lot of instability building, a lot of moisture starting to build up here. So definitely seeing the threat for some hurricane force wind gusts over 75 miles per hour, hailstones over 2 inches in diameter, and yes, a few tornadoes, especially if we can see more of these discrete cells start to develop ahead of the main feature here. And then these will start to die out as they push further to the east through the evening and early overnight hours toward your midnight time frame on Saturday morning. They really don't reach the Dallas-Fort Worth area and really don't even reach much of the Abilene region as we go through the evening hours. So definitely struggling to reach north or east Texas with this setup today. But where you do see the rain, it will come down in buckets. We're seeing lots of rainfall here, 1 to 3, perhaps isolated 4-inch totals with this. The flow in the atmosphere is not strong, so it's going to be moving slowly. A lot of these storms will be moving at 20, 30, 40 miles per hour, so we're really not seeing fast movement. So they are going to be taking advantage of all the moisture they can get here and dumping it across your region. If you live here into the Amarillo region, Lubbock, Midland, over here toward Wichita Falls, Lawton, Oklahoma here, those areas definitely could be seeing some very heavy rain through your Saturday morning. Then as we go into Saturday, another setup, a more of a marginal risk in the dark green areas here into eastern New Mexico, west central Texas. That starts to arc its way eastward towards the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex as we go into Saturday. And as of now on Sunday, we really don't have a threat for severe weather, but I would not be surprised with the pattern we're in if we do get a marginal risk to pop up as we go into Sunday, June 4th, across parts of the central and southern plains. Looking long range into next week and even going into next weekend, the Rex blocking pattern really does not like to let up. We definitely see a lot of that ridging across the northwestern United States. The ridge at this point will probably be across western Canada here, so retrograding a little bit further to the west. So a lot of the heat will be building up here into Washington State, Montana, northern Idaho, and the Dakotas during that Wednesday, June 7th through Sunday, June 11th time frame. More troughing underneath across the East Coast and the southern United States will encourage below normal to near average temperatures through that middle to late week time frame next week. But the active weather pattern will continue with the active subtropical jet here off the Pacific Ocean. Much of the same here with above average precipitation across the Intermountain West, the Central Rockies, and getting down to the southern plains into Texas and Oklahoma next week. Where the drought will be building is across the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and the Midwest through next week, with below normal precipitation expected, unfortunately, going into that time frame. And look at this, guys, a huge donut hole of precipitation not occurring across the Ohio Valley, Midwest, parts of the Missouri Valley. Some areas may not see a single drop of rain from now all the way through Sunday, June 11th. So that is troublesome for a developing drought. We will see rain in the northeast at times. Some heavier rain is possible across Maine, and then the heaviest of the rain will be down here across portions of Texas, western Oklahoma, and parts of Montana. Some areas could see over 5 or 6 inches of rain from now through your Sunday time frame. But where it's dry, like I said, across the Great Lakes, Midwest, and also the Ohio Valley, we're really rapidly developing the drought. We already have abnormally dry conditions. That's the first level of drought here in those areas. but a moderate drought does start to develop across central Illinois, parts of northeast Illinois, and starting to creep up a little further north and east there in towards southeast Iowa and parts of west central Illinois as well during that period. So we're definitely going to continue to watch it. And it looks like during the first half of June, all the way through June 15th, that drought development will be likely across the Midwest, the southern Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley. So definitely seeing a lot of dry weather during that period. But with all the lack of precipitation, a change has to come at some point. So it does look like at the second half of June, could we change our fortunes? Well, we definitely could. It looks like the jet stream will start to orient itself its way over top of the ridge that starts to build across the southern and southeastern United States as we get into the June 16th through the 23rd time frame, and more so as we get through June 23rd into the end of the month through June 30th. So what does this mean for temperatures? Well, it will be heating up down here into the southern plains, into parts of the central plains, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas through the middle of June. And then the heat really builds across the desert southwest, the west coast, and the southern United States as we get toward that last week in June with more of a northwesterly flow aloft across the northern plains, the Midwest, and the Ohio Valley. That will definitely encourage more MCSs or mesoscale convective systems to develop across that region, providing some relief from the drought during the middle and late portion of June. And you can definitely see that here with the precipitation anomalies from June 16th through the 23rd time frame. We see a lot of greens up here in the Pacific Northwest, the northern plains, and the Midwest and Ohio Valley as well. Drying will be occurring finally across portions of Texas, getting in towards New Mexico. I know you guys do need the rain down here, but it's just been so relentless here. It would be nice to see a little bit of a break getting towards the second half there of June. But then it looks like more of a mixed bag of a near average to above average precipitation across the majority of the lower 48 in southern Canada as we get in towards June 23rd through the 30th time frame to close out June. So wait a little while, a couple of weeks in the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley, and we will be seeing the rainfall that we should be getting hopefully by that time frame. But then looking at the severe weather trends, we always have to keep an eye on that going through the summer months here. With the heat building and the moisture as well, the Gulf of Mexico should open up a little bit underneath that northwesterly flow. Like I said, we see that ridge building to the north. That will bring up the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, open that back up during that Father's Day weekend onward time frame. So maybe the second half there of June. The instability trends, or CAPE, convective available potential energy, will be building across the central and eastern 2/3 of the country. And that's where we likely will see northwesterly flow complexes of storms developing up here in the Dakotas, dropping southeast through the Illinois Valley and the Ohio Valley during that June 16th through the June 30th time frame. And it is definitely possible that if we see enough of the ingredients come together, a derecho pattern could set up during that second half there of June. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that across the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Great Lakes. And we could even see some severe weather over here into the mid-Atlantic states as well, into Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina. We're definitely going to be watching you guys as we get into the second half of June. Well, if you want additional weather forecast updates in addition to today's video, we'll definitely press the description down below and follow me on Twitter at hweather420. I do update on there very frequently, so definitely follow me on there as well. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching each and every morning. I appreciate all the supporters, all the new subscribers, all the old subscribers. I appreciate it. Thank you for helping me grow this page with accurate weather forecasts as well. I appreciate that very much so. If you did like today's video, press the thumbs up button down below. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great Friday, everybody, a great weekend, and I will see you all in the next video.